Connect to I'll work on the speakers.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On me. This meeting. Good morning. It's 9 a.m. Tuesday, March 19th. Board minutes for March 12th, 2024.
Sure.
Any public comment? Things done, all in favor? Aye. Correspondence. This is from Jackie Bolster. Prior to the meeting with SIMMG, is that the season?
This is, me and us saying that they'll talk to them, she's gonna have more on that today, she just got that last night, so.
Okay,
It's in to do with the hazards training down in Drummond.
okay. So this is the LEPC meeting that you,
Really good meeting, I learned a lot, just the people that are involved. Like learning on DEQ, what you have to turn in, like a 25-gallon spill, you gotta turn that in. And then with a new law, or I don't know if it's new, anyway, they had a lot of stuff, but. Yeah, it was really interesting. Some of the. Places that they've had troubles with and stuff, they had videos of it.
well,
They had to take stuff out and blow it up even. And dig a hole. This guy over east there, he had all kinds of. It was pretty, I mean, it was kind of. You don't hear about that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy cow.
so our next correspondence is from Mako, and it is about the 2024 directory of Montana County officials is available now, and I brought back the directory, so I have one for in this office and one for the clerk and recorder's office, so you don't worry about that, we've got it. If you want to look through it.
Thank you.
Okay, Brittany E. Jones, an email, and she's the chief of communications for the BLM. And this is an informational email. And it's what grouse habitats like that. We have it online. Anybody wants to read it? I don't think it's anything that we have to worry about right now. Do we have any sagebrush, Grant County?
Sagebrush?
Yeah.
No, here, what do you look for?
Huh?
If they're more in the east.
This is their how to save the grouse and the sagebrush, it's that kind of. The next one is from Douglas L. Johnson, a regional engineer for FERC, and it's the upcoming FERC risk analysis training, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a one-day training. I don't think we'll be able to go. If you want to fly down to Kentucky for a day. And the next one is an email from Jack Curran, and it is fiscal year 2024 community project funding eligible accounts. The Department of Agricultural, Farm Research and Rural Development, Department of Commerce, Scientific and Technical Research, Department of Justice, Technology and Equipment. Homeland Security, Military Construction. Informational email. And that's it for the correspondence. Is there any public comment on correspondence? Being none, about 5 minutes before our next agenda item, which is public comment on matters within the commissioner jurisdiction. We can start that a little early, so is there any public comment on matters within the commissioner jurisdiction?
Hey Billy, who's all on the Drummond Airport board?
So there's not a separate board, they're all one, but it is. Let me pull it up. So there's Benton Rooks, Gary Snyder, Eric Anderson, Donovan Jones, Michael Thompson, Dave Sanson, and David Lee. Are our airport board.
For Drummond?
It's all one.
Is there a vacant? Or are they all?
It's all fit.
Brad or Joe Radke was asking about it, if Brad was interested, said, I don't know if there's a vacant spot.
Yeah, it's all full right now. You guys have.
She's been maintaining the airport.
Yeah, I saw an invoice come
I
over.
didn't know.
I didn't either. I saw an invoice come through from
I
them.
said, well, you got, she was wondering how to do it. So they didn't talk about it. I said, I did. But thought maybe you should take it to the airport, the stop.
Yeah.
But you thought you should take the invoice for to the airport?
We had to look at it and see what, you
Yeah.
know, but she's been maintaining it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. An invoice came in yesterday and I put it in with claims. I assumed that went through the airport board, but maybe not.
Claim day.
Yeah, so that would be something that the clerk recorder's office could do. They could call up the chairman of the airport board and say they have a claim from Joe Radke on maintenance of the,
Yeah, I didn't know how that works, so.
yeah, I mean, it isn't anything that. Yeah, if she's been doing it, she's probably sent in claims before.
I've never seen her name. She said that she
Yeah, I've never seen anything.
said she was in there 2 years or so. Seeing nothing. I just.
Well, she has, it looks like it's 2022, 2023.
Cause she said Darcy Schindler, she'd give it to him, and he said, no, and so I don't think anything ever got turned into him. I think that's what it was. She called me, I just said, well, just send him, talk about it, get you took care of. If
Yeah.
you've been hired by the airport, Darcy Schindler, then.
Yeah, I've seen him come through from Darcy Schindler before. And usually I feel like those usually go to the airport board and then the airport board usually sends them to us. And then send them to us. Yeah. Donovan.
Do they have it in there? Yeah, and they normally do, but when you do. Just hey, that didn't get to the airport board.
I can forward the claim to
Just
the
go
airport
tell-
board.
Probably need to get a hold of Joe and say she needs to do it more timely instead
That's
of,
what I told her, she's been giving it, sounds like we're giving it to Darcy, and he did. So I just said, well, just get it up here and we'll take care of it.
you know, that's unfortunate. So,
Now the big old helicopter come in there. It's kind of, I don't know what they're doing. It's, I always wanted to go out there if there's some guys there, but it's just a hit, you know. They'll just come over and sit there and just. They go. Makes you wonder, but
need to rest for a minute.
a lot of times they just hover there, they just sit there, you know, in the air and then they take off.
They don't even land.
I've seen a couple times they haven't, I've seen times they have. That's why they were talking about trying to find some big roller to pack it, compact it, to top. They talked to a few of them ranchers around there, somebody's got their big.
Any public comment on matters within the commissioner's jurisdiction?
He's got so many pockets on more.
I didn't see it on.
Oh, nice pocket.
How many pockets is there?
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, quickly sign this. Right there. Thank you.
Here, that's all well. What is it?
It's for the surplus property program. You're one of the authorized people.
Oh. So what's going on today?
You have a public comment?
This was already taken care of.
Taken care of? What's taken care of?
Where's that?
Taken care of.
Okay. What is it?
The deal for the ground. Yes.
Oh, did you? I didn't do this. Did you do this?
Yeah.
Oh. When did you do it? Did they get
Okay,
it?
so we've got a minute. I think we can start our
Okay.
weekly report with superintendent. Okay, first thing, before you go into your report is the contract. Calling to go out for bid. And we agreed that, yeah, we need to do that.
Do what?
Put it out for bid for any
Gravel?
local,
If we.
if we use it,
We have.
we need to know just what they're going to charge us. In case,
So you paid for a few weeks with the same man.
yeah, we're kind of late, we usually do it January, right?
Well, we do it first of the year.
So, yeah, and then, but what we all decided was that the majority of the work is going to be done by the road crew. So, I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to,
Which we do anyway,
Yeah.
until we can't do it. So,
we did too much, bidding out last year for it went out for, we feel that it went out. And so it might take a little longer, but we've decided that we need the road crew to do the majority unless it's absolutely dire.
need to get started on it.
Get it in the paper right away. Yeah, at least we'll have.
Right.
Well, Billy put it in the paper. Okay, yeah, Billy, we need to get that in the paper.
What is it going in the paper?
Contract hauling.
Oh, okay.
Same deal
Well,
with it.
last year or different?
It's the
Okay.
same thing, we just need that price.
Okay.
Not paying. I mean,
Probably any question.
Yeah. I have it on my computer, can send it.
Oh, okay.
We bought some gravel. We're gonna need to buy some down there.
Gonna need to buy some,
Okay,
hams.
gravel,
Mhm.
we need gravel, we're getting gravel.
I think,
We decided last year that we need gravel. If we're not gonna be spending the money on hauling the gravel by outside other than Granite County, we promise people gravel, they need gravel.
I think we should put it. To
Yeah.
bid, or just to start with 2,500 yards. For Valley and Lower Valley, get that stuff spread. And see where we're at and move on to, to whatever, that's
2,500 each.
2,500 each.
We'll put that in the paper too. Get some pricing.
We did 5,000 each last year.
2,500,
What did we do last year?
2,500.
Total or,
We won't.
No, we
do
did
it.
5,000 altogether.
Yeah. yeah, and I think we need to do that this year. And you had enough last year to spread where you could spread.
Well, we ran out.
Okay, we ran out.
And we're gonna run out again,
Okay,
but if we just do 2,500 on each side, just to get us moving. Let's get that spread, and then, the reason I say that is. Who knows, it might rain for 2 months straight, but at least we have something we can be spreading and get it laid out. And then when we're out, if we feel we're gonna want more, put it out for bid again.
when you looked at the areas that we made promises to last year, is 2,500 gonna be enough in that area?
No,
Do we need to spread more gravel? Do we need more?
we do, we could easily spread 5,000 on each side and still not cover everything that we want. to spread.
So why can't we look at our budget and see, because we're gonna have the road crew and see what we can afford and just buy, instead of saying, okay, we're only gonna get 2,500, we need to get these roads covered with the gravel.
Maybe like you said, go 5 on each end and not saying we're gonna use all that, but at least we have a, you know.
Yeah.
Just like you said, it starts raining, you ain't gonna run out of time.
You could say up to 5,000 to be determined, something like that.
I know we're never gonna catch up,
Can't catch up.
but we still have to try
I
and
know.
do something.
We have money for it. We'll never catch up, and I don't remember promising anybody.
I do.
Well, we put 10,000 yards out of the gravel pit in East Fork. Or Middle Fork, I mean, just on Upper Valley. And just hardly never got anything done in the other areas.
Okay,
And you're 100% right, I mean, we could have 10,000 yards each side and we're still not gonna catch up with what we need to do, but we gotta. My opinion is we need to start putting some.
yes, my opinion too,
We have.
and I don't know anything.
I guess, well, we have to, I mean, if we can put a bid out for.
No, now we're talking, the way you're talking, getting all the gravel out there, then we're gonna contract.
No,
Well,
absolutely not.
We're gonna try to stay.
that's the way it sounds to me, is that we gotta spread all these promises, spread all this gravel.
I did not say we're gonna spread all this gravel, we're gonna get all this gravel, then we're gonna contract out. I guess maybe you could go back and look at what I actually said. What I said was is we need gravel and we need more than 2,500 if you're saying we need to get gravel, but the road crew is going to do it.
And that's why,
fine,
that's why we said. You know, we might not get 2,000 done. I mean, it's all rather thing. Stay with our guys doing it, we can get done with whatever we can and then move on. Then look at the budget, not if we, you know.
Okay, so last year we made the list, we had the list, we said, okay, we're gonna get this. We missed where Bill Slaughter's road is. That was completely missed.
We missed out, we didn't do anything on Henderson Creek. You know, Henderson Creek's 1,000 yard off. You know. Road behind the sawmill, I mean, it just adds up bad, 1,000 yards doesn't hardly go anywhere. You know. I said. Echo Lake, for example, that road, the culverts are down there sticking up on it. I mean, that road needs it from the county line all the way to the turnaround. You know, it's terrible.
So may I ask one question? Where did the gravel go last year? What roads got hit really good with gravel?
The Middle Fork was one of the main ones, and we did a bunch on the Bostron, a lot on the Bostron. It was just so bad. And where it needs to go to is the Ross's Fork. We need to put some over that Ross's Fork hill going in there.
Let's run, you mean Rock Creek or?
Between the highways, yeah, Rock Creek.
Okay.
So we hit that area last year. This year we got hit another area, and it should come around in a cycle, wouldn't you say? We're gonna need gravel every year.
I think we gotta take a look at all the roads and the ones that get the most use and have the most people living on them. Probably ought to have priority and or recreation traffic or whatever.
We still have to hit ones that need gravel.
We gotta do everything.
So Middle
I
Fork doesn't
realize
get
that, I
gravel.
realize we gotta do everything, but I think we gotta, have a priority for the ones that get the most use.
Well, I think that's why he's saying Echo Lake and
Yeah.
down by Marletto's. I mean, that gets hit by the fish.
It does,
And then,
like,
you know, down in the lower valley, there's places we haven't hit for years.
we're down past Stephens Corner, you know, where it turns into one lane. That needs a bad. It's just a boulder. And another thing you gotta remember is that. That even if there's not a lot of traffic on some of the spots. Then rock it beat our stuff up so bad when you're plowing snow.
Okay.
And I just think we get the gravel.
Yeah.
Come in here, we have a list of roads. And we
Yes.
decide what we're hitting,
Yes,
take the whole crew,
yes,
one project at a
Yeah.
time. And
yes.
that's all you can do. We can't separate them, everybody's gotta
That
work
makes
together.
sense to me, and
And
I'm don't know what to do it, or what to do, what interests you.
That's the way we're gonna, I mean, but at least we get these bids out for the, you know, in case something happens, but especially on the gravel, 5,000, just, you know, 5,000 each. And it's not like we're gonna, you know, we might only buy 2,000 if there's in one little spot, but just depends on where you're at, what you can get done. That's the whole thing.
Dude, I've heard you do a motion on the gravel then. And then have it like up to 5,000 or in each,
I'll
or
make a motion to put out a bid for gravel, north side, south side, 25.
or 5,
No,
you talked about 5.
5,000.
5,000, yeah, piece,
25.
around, so we can actually have it on hand.
Right.
If we get going, we get going.
10,000 total.
5,000.
no,
5,000 both ways.
5,000 each end. 5,000 each end.
We're not, who says we're gonna use it, but at least we get it, you know, we can bid it and then we have it.
Yeah, it's up to-
An estimate, what would 10,000 pounds, or whatever it is of gravel, how much would that cost? Yards,
It's gonna be $16 a yard,
how much?
$16 a yard.
16, so 16 times
That's-
10,000. Put the calculator,
Yeah, approximate.
Yeah, I mean,
how much?
Oh, calculator?
Calculate. 10,000. 60,000. 160,000.
160 just for gravel, and then we're gonna try to do it ourselves. We just
and that's
got,
just an estimate, it could be 4, you know, 4
We-
years.
Talking about that being your next year, next fiscal year budget? Or is it in the current fiscal year budget? Next year's,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, I'll go
July.
5,000 apiece.
Thank you. Is there any public comment? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried, yes.
We're just gonna put that in the paper to bid, and run it for 2 weeks. We sent, if the weather stays like this, we can start doing some stuff.
And then it's gonna be
So-
raining next week.
Could be next Thursday, the following
I
Thursday,
mean,
and
for
the
a month.
following Tuesday, so. Not till,
La Nina is supposed to hit,
What's that?
La Nina is supposed to start in June. I just heard.
What is
La Nina,
16?
that means cooler and wetter.
La
Oh,
Nina?
no,
La
today's
Nina,
only the
La Nina?
19th.
What happened to El Nino?
28th, 4th, so the 9th of April.
Landowners. On the property of it. And if the county's doing that, we're gonna told them what we did. And how the Forest Service is against that and in their lines that, you know, the lines on cadastral are. They're kind of tricky because they're not exactly where they're supposed to be. Told them where we piled the gravel, that we dug out of the weir and that we removed it. They said there's absolutely, they couldn't care less if the county's doing that work. And I said that we want to do a bunch more going down the creek. And we'd like to pile of stuff we dig out of the creek, like 100 feet away or something. Zero problem, go do it if we're doing it. They said, as far as they're concerned, it's like, they're not gonna blame us if Mother Nature blows a tree over either. And that's just what they said.
His name's
Where they
Christopher
from?
Roberts from Tennessee, owns McAtee Investments. Hello,
what?
McAtee Investments LLC. Christopher Roberts is the main one. He has several businesses. You know,
The main one for what?
he's the main owner, Christopher
Oh.
Roberts is. He's the contact.
Yeah,
And he's good with it.
zero problem.
And you said Forest Service is against it, you're meaning abuts it, or,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, they're Forest Service themselves are not.
Not
Not
again.
opposing it,
Their
but
land
just-
is against
Okay.
it. But anyway, that's all cleaned up, all out. We don't use that stuff. We can. Yeah, there's just. No issue with it, that's good. Other than that-
Ourselves.
Absolutely. Other than that, we're just blading along the road and. Taking advantage of the weather.
So, meeting with Brad Lehrman again about another permit, or what's the deal with
We're
that?
gonna meet with Brad later on, he's,
Yeah, okay,
what's that? Yeah, he's gonna meet 21st, I guess, with Jerome.
I'm gonna go.
We'll meet with Brad
I
again
know, yeah.
alone and figure out what we'd like to do.
What
But
we,
Jerome doesn't need to be in our meeting,
what we want to do,
correct?
our stuff. Not to be bullied into doing other stuff when it's. You know what?
No, we're gonna meet with Brad ourselves. That's my opinion.
We can do.
Other than that, that's all about all I got. Everything at the dump is, on my side's fine. I don't know if you have any paperwork stuff. No.
No, I've got a few questions, some things that need to be ironed out.
Do you wanna come up here,
Oh,
please?
one of the hot seat also.
It don't make me live with
mine. I spoke to you about overages. We're gonna send out overages. For people that have granite disposal and they're dumping, and also at the end of the year, we have the people that just regular dumpers have their overages. Wanted to know about the minimum amount to bill them. If you go 20 pounds over, 20 cents a pound, that's $4. Do we send out $4, notices for people to pay? Is there?
You know, what you were saying, excuse me for interrupting
Sure.
you, but I know you mentioned to me writing it off and I was thinking about it. And I don't think it's right to write it off, even if it is a small amount, they're over.
If we're gonna do this, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it. We're not gonna start, yeah.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah, no.
I think in the past, there was a smaller amount, we just
I
let
think
let
if
it
we're-
roll, but anyway.
We started this, we're. Need to just follow. through.
It's only fair.
Yeah,
What if you let 100 people, let it go at $4, that's $400.
yeah.
Yeah. that's insane. You know, we're every, yeah.
Okay.
The idea was to put it on the individual versus the general taxpayer,
Yeah.
those who benefit
Yes.
from it.
Okay, and another thing I was going through, and I've noticed that there's been a lot of purchases, property, so. Landowner A sold to B, now A was dumping for a while, now B's dumping, is the new owner, is he responsible for the previous owner's dumping? Because we can't get a hold of the previous owner because the tax records have changed.
I
think
think
we- I was just saying, I don't think the new owner is per se, but it's gonna be a lien on their property,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have their, the same with, I have a mortgage on my property, I sell it, that mortgage goes with,
Yeah.
with the new buyer, so I think it's the same concept here. They're not, I don't think we could bring a lawsuit directly against, a collection action against the new person, but you can put the lien on the property.
Yeah,
See, I haven't noticed that happening where they're gonna be over, with the two totals, but I'm thinking, it's a possibility and I just wanna know how you wanna. roll
okay,
it.
so this is. The treasurer has done liens and the liens go of record in the recorder's office, and a lien is a cloud. On the property, so it'd be the same instance for. The solid waste would put a lien against that property, but can they put it against the property after the fact?
Yeah, I think they're, yeah, I think that's our only way to. I mean, we could write a letter to the person, but they don't know where they're at, and the only way to collect it would be having it on property. Then they'll have to go after their.
Yeah.
They'd have a cause of action against their,
Yeah. See, usually like, just as an example, if there's a lien against your property, you go to sell it, that lien is there. And title company comes in and sees that lien, and then that has to be settled before that property's ever sold. So I don't know, I guess this is something that maybe the solid waste has to. If they're not collecting, put liens against the property, or are we just gonna put it on their tax?
Yeah.
How we're gonna do it.
yeah, I was saying that, I think, yeah, I'll have to look at that.
Well, currently, I send notices, second notices, and then in 2 years, the list of people that haven't paid their overages goes onto their property taxes and the line item for the amount as a dump fee, and then they have a 135 in there, but they also have their overage fee. So to pay in full their property taxes, they have to include that amount, so. I mean, it is essentially a lien, but I don't think it triggers a,
Isn't that when we talked with JP about another line?
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And that you're just talking the scenario goes on their taxes, right?
Yeah.
And then they don't pay their
Yeah.
taxes,
Yeah.
but here, this is a little different.
Yeah.
scenario. I don't know that we could really go after the new buyer and put it on the taxes because they didn't. they hadn't
Unless
made
the
it.
lien had been priorly
Yeah.
put of record, is what I'm thinking. If it wasn't a record, then there wasn't a buyer beware that there's a lien against this property for solid waste.
Back
Yeah.
But also, yeah, if any of that,
Well, I
is even the fact, yeah.
Well, I've noticed that there's about 10 that are in the listings, and I noticed that there's an address change because I've changed the address inside the system. So there's 2 entries. There's one for, Smith and then Jones, and on the same tax ID. And
Here's a better option, I think, than the lien. At least the first try is I think we could track, I think my office could track down where they're at, where their new address is. We go after them first.
Yeah.
Try that. And I'll research the idea.
but does that person, the seller, does he have to have an overage first? I'm talking about the accumulative of seller and buyer. Total triggers an overage, And who's responsible for that?
It would be the buyer.
Well,
The new owner.
they're trying to think of, it's getting complex. So you're saying, but you know how much the seller and the buyer each had, correct?
I can break it up.
I think that's gotta. If it, the overage that the seller had, they're responsible for.
Sure, I can do
And then
that.
the overage the buyer had, they're responsible for. Yeah, they gotta separate it.
But you're not gonna get it out.
It's basically simple contract law. You're responsible for what you got the benefit.
Yeah.
So,
Just want to fix it.
but I think we could track down the person, the seller that's on, you can't get a hold of. Let me know their names and information and we'll try. We had to do that with, individual who had an overage and actually I had to bring a mission direct me to file the lawsuit in justice court.
Chase down those $4.
Well, if that's $4, it's not worth going over litigation over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it would
but
be,
I would just, but it showed up in my listings and I just wanted to make sure that we're, is it equitable for the buyer to take on all of the stuff that came with the property, including the overages that might have occurred?
Said I didn't think it was viable. and the idea of the lane on it.
Okay.
So it's only $4, is that what you're talking about?
No, it can't be as low as $4. And there's some people are in 50,000 pound range right now. You know, like in Montana Towing. So I've talked them into buying 20 units, you know, just to cover what they're up to now, you know. And there's contractors that are just come in with,
They're building there right now too.
yeah, so they're not, that was the knockdown. I think it all went to the dump. And anyway, they accrued this high
That's what
months.
brought a lot of their phones and that started, 'cause
Yeah.
they weren't- They had no record of these and they were taking stuff up that we didn't know.
Right.
Okay, we're kind of running into our next agenda items.
So it's gonna be open in that. You know, if there's overages on one side, we'll just take care of it on both sides. Yeah, okay,
Come up and let's meet on it.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
we'll table them, okay.
Anything else?
Oh, one more question. Are you talking about a lot of people that are AWOL or you don't know where they're at, or just like one person?
No, I'm talking about, there's properties that have sold, there's like 15, and I don't even know if they're overages, I can check that, we can work together.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
See you, thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next agenda item is the dam tenders report. And at 6:15 AM, it was 6428.78, 8.64. It's
It was the public comment by Jim Wallbillings and like to keep it like right around where you have it now. Understand. Yeah. Gotta look at all the factors.
See, Brad. So,
like, keep it at 30.
Well, don't let it go much more than 8.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back to 30. But whatever.
So we want to kind of keep it at 8 if we can.
You know,
That's still another 4 inches there that, you know, volume.
I'm getting a glare.
Drop it back.
May I do this?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Supposed to have wet next week.
Yeah, no, you're good.
That's another one of their gambling on, you know, what they have.
well, last thing I read with Todd, I think is like 25 coming in. So if we went back to 30, we'd still be going down. Just
Yeah,
slower.
there's not as much coming as going out, but we might be getting some more, so, yeah, either way, 30 or 35. Yeah.
Do you want to do one more week at 35 and look at it, do you think? And because we have weekend.
Well, still gotta go to week by week, so we gotta go to them.
Oh, every week
They've
we
been-
have to go.
Yeah, and they've been agreeing to it up until now. I don't know what to thought.
Brad, what do you think?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Yeah, you know, I think we're probably getting to the point where matching inflows is starting to make sense because I mean, snowpack's still so low, you know, up high at the Snowtel sites that yeah, I don't know how much lower you want to go to make sure you get it filled, but you know, obviously it's up to you guys today, and then we can think about whether we consent to what you do, but I imagine we'd probably maybe have DNRC run another report and just assess what you guys decide to do.
Yes. Kind of balance this and see what the weather's gonna do, Brad.
Say it again, Scott.
I just said, if we drop it back to 30, we're getting closer to what the inflows are. We're not quite sure this week what they are, but at least we're moving it back and, you know.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna try to look up what they had estimated, what DNRC had estimated inflows at. Can't quite remember.
Okay, my motion will be to do 30 per week, weekly.
Is there any public comment? Things none, all in favor?
Well, yeah, and I'll send out the email and see if consent is-
Okay, our next. Hello? Did I hear something?
I think it was Brad.
Oh,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'm looking at the report. It looks like inflows in late February were 20 to 25 CFS, so. And did you guys just voted to go with 30? Is that right?
correct.
Okay. Yeah,
And he'll send the emails out and get approval, and then we can get a hold of Paul right away and get that.
okay, sounds good.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Our next agenda item, Jeremiah of Great West Engineering to discuss applying for DNRC's Renewable Resources Grants to assist with Flint Creek project expenses. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Good morning, commissioners. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing good. Okay, so I guess why I'm on the agenda today, we had completed our technical memo back in December on the outlet works, the tile drain, and the intake pipes. So you actually received an DNRC RRG planning grant back in 22 to address, I guess, to do some investigation on some of the comments we've received from FERC on the dam. Specifically, when we completed the last Part 12D inspection, there was another failure mode added, and that was because those two 30-inch conduits through the center of the dam, they have never been inspected for thickness. And when we did the valve replacements, we did check the thickness of the pipe when we cut those to put the valves in, and there was some section loss. And so the inspector and FERC determined that that is a potential failure mode because we don't know the thickness of those pipes coming through the dam. So, you know, our recommendation there is that the only way we can do that to isolate flows is to use that blind flange that that was purchased as part of the valve replacements, and have actually we wouldn't use that. We would close the valve and have divers go down and do underwater inspection. That's about all we can do there. The other component of that inspection was at the outlet of the right where the penstock takes off, those lower valves. You got that moisture sitting on the concrete, and you've got some concrete deterioration. And so we did some investigation there. You got some seepage, and the west wall is tilting slightly. The east wall's in good condition. So our recommendation there is to just put a small thin concrete overlay to get some positive drainage on that slope, so we can keep the water moving off. And then we also need to excavate behind that west wall and do a lateral tieback to keep that wall from tilting. And at the same time we do that, we'll put just a French drain in there and pipe it out, so that way we can take care of the drainage. So that's recommended in our memo. And then the last item was you have those two tile drains that drain kind of right in between the two spillways there. And those, based on past inspections and reporting, if basically the recommendation to the dam tender was if they see any turbidity in there, they need to report it because it could be a potential failure mode. You're moving sediment through the dam. It's not easy to see and capture any sedimentation there. So we looked at a couple different options. You could do like a sediment catch, little containment within the spillway. There's also these jar turbidity monitors you could put, and we'd have to obviously extend those pipes and put a jar on there. And then there's also like a sedimentation filter we could install, also that the dam tender could go down, just look and make sure there's no turbidity in there, we don't have any issues, and record that in the inspection log. So that was our recommendations in the tech memo. Obviously, you know, those someday when we get response back from FERC on your Part 12D, those are going to be items that need to be completed. And they're part of your, you know, your plan, schedule, and action to address. So our, I guess our recommendation, if the commissioners want to move forward, is we could pursue a DNRC RRG construction grant. You could apply for up to $125,000, and you know, we can add these 3 items into there. So you know, we'd put the cost in there to hire you know, divers to do inspection of those conduits. We'd put the replacement cost of those concrete and you know, cost of installing you know, a turbidity monitor on the dam, and get those items accomplished under that DNRC grant. And you've used DNRC grants in the past. You know, we used one for the spillway and Gabions. We used one for the valves. So I mean, Granite County has been successful in getting an RRG grant.
I don't think we do all that stuff, so we better go for that, because we can't keep robbing and keep paying for that.
It's going to be a requirement. It's, you know, it's something that needs to be completed. So I guess we should, my opinion is pursue the grant to, you know, to cover those costs.
Definitely go for that.
Is that infrastructure money, Jeremiah?
No, the DNRC RRG program is actually a revenue generator from the coal severance tax fund.
Okay.
The 2 years ago, because it's those grants are biannual. So the last time they were awarded, they actually used infrastructure money to backfill. So the DNRC has a bit of surplus in coal severance money because they didn't need to use it with infrastructure funds. But moving forward, yeah, it'll be coal severance funding.
So is this something that Great West does for us, applies for, does the grant?
And then I
Okay.
administer it.
And then,
I
okay,
do the reporting there.
okay. Is there a motion?
So I guess the only thing there, and there is, Great West would have a fee because these applications are, you know, we have the tech memo already, but there's some effort there. So our fees to do a DNRC RRG application are $4,500 and then yeah, Billy Ann's done a great job administering those applications, and so, you know, we wouldn't need to do any grant administration on top of it. We just, you know, assist her as needed if you are successful. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware of it before I can get a task order together. Those applications are due May 15th, so there's quite a bit of work to get there. But if you want to move forward, we can get the process started.
Being that used car salesman again.
I knew you'd love that, Scott.
You knew it was coming, didn't you?
Okay, the motion is to move forward.
Make a motion, we move forward with that fee grant.
I second it.
Is there any public comment? Go ahead, Elena.
Sorry, I lost my.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. Jeremiah, I was just want to confirm something. So there is no county matching funds with these?
No, the DNRC RRG program, you can request up to $125,000 with no match on that.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye, go for it.
Okay,
Jeremiah.
we will get on it. We'll get that process started.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, take care, everyone. Thanks.
You too, bye.
There's always gonna be stuff, it don't, they just pick, there's it'll never, ever end. I mean, that's, I get really frustrated, but there's just gonna be shit coming up all the time.
With that turbidity monitor, would you guys go with whatever money you got then, or? 'Cause I mean, it seems like the filter would work, but if you got the money for something else, you could do it, or what are you
I
thinking?
guess we'd have to have a little more info on it, see
Yeah.
really what he's kind of saying, the dam's gonna go down.
Yeah,
It'd be a lot cheaper than putting the whole new. Yeah, I don't know what they cost, I guess that's what we gotta figure out, once we get the grant, then we can start looking at actually what we wanna do. That's my.
good plan.
Good mom.
Not doing too good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What happened?
She, been assisted living, because she was so frantic with my dad with dementia, and he slipped, but I don't know if that was the cause of it. She just, 86 and body's giving up on her. No fun getting old.
What's happening?
No fun getting old.
Tell them that.
Tell him, Scott.
Certainly is. Be positive, be positive. Keep exercising. Don't give up on hope. Okay, so. We have a couple minutes before our next agenda item, which is Suzanne Hill with Simulation in Motion. To discuss proposed hazmat training simulation.
I just have a quick question. So for with the dam, do I need to text Paul Talon and tell him to turn it down to 30 since it's decreasing in
Yeah, we're
outflow,
gonna
or do
go-
we have to wait until we hear back?
30, so, yeah, I don't-
Okay,
So you guys voted to go down to 30, but they haven't agreed to 30. If they don't, then I'll have to go to 25. But I'll send the email out, hopefully they'll agree to 30.
but I can tell him to go down to 30
would
right
tell him,
now. I
yeah,
don't
I
have
would
to
tell
tell him to
him
go
to-
down to 20, right?
I'll go to 30 right now.
Okay,
Not
okay. I just wanted to
And
confirm.
then if they don't agree, it's 25 and close, right?
He's saying. I think reading and stuff. That's why, mentioned to him, just go to 30 for now.
Yeah.
Stay, we gotta still stay a little bit better to hold some, because it's, I mean, that's no, but not looking good. I mean, if we go out and, we get in trouble, we're gonna get in trouble. We gotta remember that we gotta try to help these lower valley people and stuff. If
Here's Suzanne, come on up.
yeah,
Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. Susanna
Suzanne. Hi.
Hill is here with the presentation. Good morning.
Good morning. So Jackie mentioned that you guys might have some questions, so I can just start
sharing from my perspective, or if you guys wanted to talk to me, I can certainly respond.
Oh,
However you
yeah, I'll
prefer.
start out. I was just trying to figure out what, I guess just throw it right out, what do we get for $10,000 and what's. I just don't understand really what are you proposing, what are we doing, and, I mean, we don't have no clue. And I'm against it, I'll tell you that.
That's totally fine. So to be super clear, we're a nonprofit. We are in place in Montana to solve the problem you're experiencing right now. Department of Public Health and Human Services. You probably remember the presentation I gave you, so I'll abbreviate it. But in 2015 and 17, they partnered with Helmsley Charitable Trust to bring quality, high fidelity simulation training to Montana in a nonprofit format so that rural markets are able to afford it. Meaning, whatever, it's literally like if you were in college and you went to a sliding scale clinic and you literally had $20, they'll cover the rest of it. Because rural Montana cannot afford it. So I did mention to Jackie, it might have been helpful if I came last week, because it does come across as this sticker shock. But that's what it costs. Our budget requires me to charge $5,000 anytime I send one team out into the field. We have 3. We've got one in Havre, one in Bozeman, and then one that kind of floats between Butte and Missoula. So it doesn't matter if they're training CPR or if they're training basket rescues out of a helicopter. It costs me $5,000 to send them out. So because the local LEPC and then your department heads that we're working with to build the training, what they requested requires 2. So it's 10. And it's difficult for me to give you an itemization because it doesn't actually matter what they're training on. If I pull them out of the market, I can only send them to 165 trainings a year. That's all we're able to accomplish. So the moral of the story is, if you guys want, if they want this training, it's totally optional to us, and it's optional to us if they use us. They don't have to. We'll fill our calendar no matter what. We would love to serve your county, and we will find the gap. If you guys can pay $1,000, that's fine. We just need to know that so that we can get busy. I've got a fund development department in my organization that will go to work finding the remaining funding so that I can bring 2 teams to Drummond in this case to deliver a full scale plus tabletop to deliver skilled provision and actually as written, the way they've requested this training actually includes, so we've got a rail car spill, so we've got significant training of your ICS, your radio channels and your iPod system, management of a rail car spill. We're going to be engaging your various fire and EMS services, including the transporting entities. We're going to be evacuating your school, portions of your residences, and then a potential secondary evacuation, depending on what the wind's doing that particular day. And in addition to all that, because we're pulling your volunteers out of their lives, basically to come to a training, we figure you've got transporting fire and you've got obviously transporting EMS in your county, many. And so while we've got them, we're just going to give them the CEs that they want, whether it be, and I can tell you some of the options if you really care, but basically just talking to each of those agencies, figuring out what they want their teams to be receiving that day. So in all of that thing I just described, we'll have a building occupied with 1 full team. And that's how I would send them out anywhere. In fact, we send them here in Phillipsburg all the time. I send 2 trainers here to your hospital, and we do sims all day long. And we do them with our high fidelity mannequins. They respond to care just like humans. It's incredibly effective training. So in your larger mass casualty event, we're going to have a smaller, kind of like another standalone event within a facility. So we're just doing patient care outcomes for any sort of what we would call patient casualties out of your mass casualty, but then we swoop them under. And if they choose, they want to do like traumatic brain injury training or pediatric trauma, whatever they're really feeling like they need, like separate from the mass casualty, we'll be doing that in the thing. So there are a variety of options. You guys don't have to use it at all. We're just trying to take care of your county, and it's something that they'd like to do. If you don't like the price point and you don't like the concept of us helping to supplement that and subsidize that, there is another training in the area that can do something. He doesn't have our technology, and he doesn't have any of our equipment, like the high fidelity mannequins, but he's good. And so that could be an option. We could also like revise the scope. I thought Jackie might be here. I don't want to speak for her. Oh, she is. Okay, good. Jackie, I don't want to speak for you, but if they want to revise the size or the scope of the training, then that's certainly on the table for them as well. Obviously, whatever they choose to do needs to address the needs that they, and I don't know exactly what they're trying to accomplish, so I don't want to say that, but that's an option we could do. And so anytime we revise that scope so that it only requires one team, it cuts the price in half. You guys have several corporations that manage businesses that put your county at risk, as you guys are very aware. We have great relationships with them, so it's likely that they would contribute some. This specific training does also check most of the boxes for your ARPA funding. And well, the dashboard that they have at the state is not terribly accurate because you don't have to actually spend it to have it spent in your mind, but it does appear that you may have some there if you guys wanted to try out on that. But again, that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to overcome with you folks, but completely respect the decision that you want to make.
Okay, so comment?
We next that we got from DJ Olson, he's with you.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, he came to the LEPC meeting. He listened to all their insight and input, and you guys have a lot of components to juggle for one of these. So we've kind of had to go back and forth to figure out what was best for your community, and then just hosting something like this in a community and all of the implications it could mean for just traffic and passersby in an average day.
So say they have 5,000. Maybe we'll try to find.
Give me a minute. Yes, absolutely.
That's.
If you have 5,000 in your budget, go to them and say you have 5,000 to spend, they could look to potentially supplement that.
And what I would suggest is we get back with Jackie and say, if your county has $5,000, and this is how much I think I can go find, how do you guys want to utilize that so that it's best for your county?
Sure. So, okay, this is something that we've discussed and we haven't done it in what, like 20 years or so.
Yeah.
And it's been up at this area and something needs to be done down that area. This is something that it's probably needed, right?
And we've been talking, that's where we're back, in the correspondence, we got that in front of the rail link or being.
Yeah.
From that guy too, they have a guy that's trained too, so I
Like
guess
that.
that's what we're trying to figure out, what we really get. Or what we're gonna do, I guess I don't.
But it was Jackie that came to you wanting that training, correct? Getting it right. Okay, yeah.
They brought it up, talking that we need to do, no, I didn't know we need to do something, I guess I didn't know really what we were getting. Or what we was gonna pay, and then it just took so long to get back, and I didn't want to.
Well, they're
Don't hear
complicated.
nothing,
Yeah.
people get back, I get nervous.
Okay, so in a time frame situation, we would have to reach out to you and say, we wanted to do this in July, we'd have to reach out to you and ask you by when before we do this.
Well, at this point, we've been working pretty closely with them, so we kind of know what they're trying to achieve. I would say we need about a 60-day planning window. So we could reach May, which is what they were looking for loosely. We could pretty easily deliver by May. So meaning anytime after May, I think we could definitely do it if we hear.
So your fee is you need 2, so it'd be like 10,000. And what we, I mean, you found out that maybe there's other places where we get other.
John Rassman with DEQ does spill trainings.
Okay.
He does, and we've spoken with him. We would certainly
Okay.
make sure we're meeting his standards for sure. They won't be able to do any of the other medical, which is fine, and that's up to Jackie and her team to know what they want to accomplish with it. The high fidelity technology we bring to the table is definitely for patient care outcomes. I had a team of debrief experts basically, so in a county that has struggled with EMS and some of the other team dynamic issues that may have come out of that, I think that might be one of the reasons Jackie looked at this direction. That's what my team is specialized in. Making sure that we create chaos in a county. We don't just run an exercise, we create chaos among people. We challenge all of their systems. We're constantly and concurrently looking to identify the gaps in systems, communication, skills provision.
you name it, and then at the end, in the afternoon, we're bringing all those partners together for a tabletop discussion. And it's not your typical tabletop. This is an actual around a table. We're gonna talk about everything we just saw. Meanwhile, my team is, they're like savant level at making sure things don't go off the rails. And then by the time we send everybody back out into the community, they're leaving with an after action report. They're leaving with a conversation where we all discussed the same issues and the same things we all just saw. They create the after action report for their own. We kind of lead them to that, but they decide exactly what's important to them. And they leave. And if you guys wanted us to do a follow-up at 3 months to make sure that everybody really understood what they were to do, almost inevitably between the exercise and the 3-month follow-up is a moment where folks are like, oh, we didn't have the equipment or the resources that we needed to do that. We help connect them with that. If that's something that you guys wanted to do there, that's fine. That would be the difference. And so you guys know what you need in your county, and Jackie knows what she needs in her county, but that would be the difference. He's good. He's gonna replicate a rail spill well. A lot of the other things that might occur in the community that it, becomes
Okay.
really realistic.
Okay.
sometimes for us.
So today we,
All right, one thing to bring up too is Drummond schools would be done by like 3rd week in March or May, so. If
So
you're gonna
you-
do a school one, yeah, it'd have to be.
they have to be in session, so it's
May
like,
And
Or,
we're aiming for the 2nd week of May in this
Okay.
conversations, but. And to be clear, just so you know, this isn't something that's like now or never. It
Right.
isn't. We can work with you
Right.
anytime. We're not, I mean, next year, it doesn't matter to us. We just want to make sure you have what you need.
so I think. Right now, are we ready for a decision, or do we want to send an advisement?
Kind of, give me a week or ask for a week, I just assume, because we went and asked to be in, I just don't want to throw them out too, because that LEPCV, they were there and, we asked them, well, can you guys do this stuff? So I just don't wanna just all of a sudden say hell with them either, so.
Is this
if-
easier?
If we put it back on table till next week, and now we understand she came and then. I have more idea what they're bringing to the table. It's not so much about the money, it's just what we're getting, what are we gonna get out of it? I
Sure.
guess.
Okay,
Yeah, when you speak with, are you talking about DEQ and John for the other? Excellent. If he sounds like he's gonna deliver what you want, it's possible with the same
yes,
pay what you can. We could rebuild something within his that comes in, you get both of it, and you get his expertise in what you need from us. We're open to anything.
is that,
I'm with Sean.
okay, so
Mhm.
we're not gonna make a decision on this. We'll table it. Do we need a week or a couple weeks?
They're gonna do it in May 11th. We're
Okay.
down to time. I just soon. Now I understand a lot more. I'm glad you came. The communication's gotta be better.
Yeah, there are a lot of people in this conversation for sure. So I think once we know what we're doing and we know that that's not gonna change, we'll get busy.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, in a week, are we going to decide whether we're going to do with Suzanne or
Or if there's something else.
if there's
'cause I
something
went-
else that we want to do? So we're gonna research this and then we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
Questions, if you, I've reached out to John a couple of times. If you have any questions, give me a shout.
I'll get on Jackie and, where is it?
And hearing you speak about John, I mean, a suggestion I would make as you're chatting with him. If it were me, I wouldn't take off the table the opportunity for us to work together on it, because we can bring something complimentary to him, get the price down, DEQ's already gonna do it. And that might be another thing, at least for you to consider, and you know what that would.
Just gotta make up the money. We'll make the decision next week.
Jackie, did you have a comment?
She can unmute and do all things.
Okay, so I guess we'll put this,
Agree, we can do it later, we can do guess let's just table it for next week and then we figure out for sure what we need to do. I just don't wanna, I mean, work with some other guys too, I'm not.
That's great.
That work?
Of course,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
we're here to serve
Right.
you. You don't owe me
Okay,
anything.
thank you very much.
Of course, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next agenda item. Potential contracting Transact RX for medical billing. Is this medical billing for the ambulances?
No, it's for our public health department. And Jackie is ready. Yay.
Okay, sorry, I was on the phone when you were asking me a comment. So there is this new program and it's called Transact RX. And the problems all public health people have is we cannot collect on like the Part D on Medicare because that's a pharmacy only. And this company, it can charge out Medicare Part D, B, Medicaid, and Medicaid VFC. And then for an additional 100, and that's for the one cost. And I sent them an email. I have not heard back from them on that. For the initial cost, they say it's a small fee. And then they take a percentage of what is collected from these Part D vaccines. And we just feel like it would be a good thing to have, and then we're not losing money and it's sitting on the table. We're like close to $2,000 now we can't collect. And then if we add in additional, like Cigna and Blue Cross Advantage are some of those that we cannot collect from Care West. It's $150 one-time fee if we want to add those other companies into the system. And they do all the credentialing, so I would not have to be doing all of that.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we go ahead with that and we should get some of that money back. What were they gonna charge? Did they charge a percentage? Is that?
Yeah, percentage.
Yes, I sent them an email and I have not heard back from them. I found this all out last week on a public health billing call I was on.
Your motion could be if they're charging a customary fee, then it's agreeable.
Right, and when I did the demo, they said they charge above the amount that like we would be charging to cover that fee portion.
Is there any public comment? Being none, all in favor? Go for it, Jackie.
Okay, thanks.
And I'll stop in and talk to you some more on this and get some more info.
Okay. I have to be gone this afternoon, so,
I'll come tomorrow or something.
okay,
I'll make some calls.
okay. I can talk to you tomorrow too, so, okay, bye.
Thanks.
This is moving right along with EPHHS task order to assist with funding for public health discussion and decision. This task order, is this just, we just need to sign it? 'Cause we
Yes.
Pretty much agreed.
Yep. And that actually has money for fiscal year 2025, money to help with this year for the overlap in training, and some money for supplies that he threw in there, so.
Is there any public comment? None, all in favor? Aye. Hey. Just the one. Did I say all in favor already?
Yeah. Do you have a second where I can talk to you about something? So we had the asbestos test for my office before because we had the mold or whatever, and I think
they
they've
just
done
did
it in
it
other
for
places,
Linda.
but the places we're doing the construction have to have that as well. So Slate thought the county should just contract with someone and get that done. It doesn't mean they need to be the whole courthouse, just the places where we're working. I don't know that group that just came in, did other stuff, might be able to.
I saw your email this morning. They were super fast and here and quick. That lady that was here when you were here for the walkthrough last week.
What's your name? So you're good with just,
Yeah,
it has to be done.
well, this is just something,
Yeah.
this is just administration doesn't have to be approved by us. Because it has to be done, it should get done.
Yeah.
Can't find it. I'll get ahold of Reba.
Or, you know, so
Yeah.
Billy can reach out.
Okay, I'm signing this task order, right?
Yes.
Today is first day of spring. It's today. If you didn't know.
70+ degrees in Missoula yesterday. Maybe it's somewhere. Yeah.
See the kid, cross country run and make it.
Tracks it, yeah. But they're gonna probably talk to the old chip.
I live in three of them.
Awesome. Sky can run. All in Boston.
Okay, and the next agenda item. We can go. Here's a question. That was brought to my attention. The door, where the elevator's gonna be on the main floor right there on the sheriff's door going in, are they gonna have to widen that area for a wheelchair?
Said that there was a. See,
Yeah,
So you see where I'm coming from?
yeah.
That doorway? Because if someone's gonna come out of the elevator in a wheelchair, are they gonna be able, because of the stairs, the way they go up?
Yeah, it'll be.
About that, I remember.
It'll be
Oh, the
ADA.
access is down there.
The access, but there's gotta be access on this floor too,
You got to
right?
get in and
Yeah,
out.
this floor, not the, where you come in, not there, but yeah. Up here on this floor.
Oh, where?
But when the elevator stops here on this floor, it's gonna be right there.
There is a door, yeah, there's a doorway that's wide.
This is really hard to read. I'm gonna try to read it. I'm gonna give it to you.
I'm pretty sure that it was, but they had wire, I think he said that ADA door had to be wired so they can come.
Oh,
Yeah, I think
That's- Here's the big. I thought so, but then I didn't see them. I just have the bid docs. Or just the. It's the flip.
But this one, right, you guys talked about it.
Yeah.
It was,
I just couldn't remember, but it would, a wheelchair coming, okay. So the door is here. And the elevator's right here, and they're gonna come out this way. And then we have the stairs. Right here, but the stairs are right in front of the door. So that person coming out of the elevator. Has to be able to come out.
Yeah, I guess, Greg, that, you know, we call that Scott and ask him too, and we got the number right here.
Well, it's just a thought that we keep in the back of our minds. That won't be forgotten.
I remember him saying something about it.
Because when we did our walkthrough, we didn't even, everybody started upstairs and then we kind of just passed. And went down into the basement. Kind of passed.
Had 3 people interested though.
There was. 2, 3. 2, 3.
So.
I don't know if maybe 2 were
I
together.
think the lady and the Cleveland were together, so there's Diamond, Cleveland's group, and then Dave Kessler. Those 3 of them.
Be interesting. And we gave them an extra week so they can get better pricing or reach out for it.
When are the bids?
It'll be, when's the bids got? Cause we gave, oops, sorry.
No, you're fine. I just had a messages. We extended it 1 week. They were due this Thursday, so they'll be due next Thursday. Mhm.
Be interesting to see what's gonna come out. Keep moving ahead with it, that's all we can do. We got this all.
Find it.
So the floor, that's on the detail one. Under. What, yeah.
Okay, so this is. Okay, this right here. Great. There we go. It's here.
So.
Why
Proud
not?
of- It's not very good. That's a session.
Yeah, it's gotta be ADA. So that's gonna.
She must talk to you, right?
It's wider.
It's happy wider, right?
Yeah. Back today. You were most familiar with Fair Board, correct?
Yeah.
Or if you want her, or if you guys want me to schedule her to come in for a session, she was looking at a second potentially.
If she's, if we get into something here,
Okay, but yeah, let me know.
then. Pull that. My memory's not.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna miss much on this.
No, I really like him. He's. Yeah. He's good people.
Yes, no, I mean,
I got another message. I already let you guys know. He already emailed. Tester's office can't be here for that later agenda item today, but he is gonna be in town on March 29th. So if you guys have any concerns you wanted to sit down and talk to him about, he can make himself available for a meeting. I want to say it's a Friday. It's Friday, next Friday.
see what. Yeah.
That's wider.
This morning.
Sky will look at the plan.
What's that?
So he has the door opening the other way out into the end. But that's wider, right, than what it is now? Okay, so the concern, the worry was the.
Yeah, door swings in this way, and yeah, there's no way that it.
So walls down with that.
So they're gonna wall, okay. So we're gonna lose part of the stairway. Okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is moving, so this right here is the stairway, yeah, okay.
You take a picture of that, send it away.
Hmm?
Take a
Oh,
picture,
yeah.
send it away. You want me to take a picture,
Yeah.
send it to you?
No, I understood what you're saying, but I remember talking about that elevator. It dropped and then about each side, it's not just the width of the elevator. it's everything else too, so.
That allowed you to expand.
Yeah. no, that was what you have to do, what you have to do. Thank you. I don't know what kind of update do we have to discuss that, just that they came through, they looked at it, we had 3.
I guess anything now is next week and then once a bid come in then. You know, Rod's been here.
Okay, 10:30 Granite County Courthouse Elevator and ADA project update from pre-bid walkthrough. And we had the walkthrough on Friday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, was it Wednesday? Oh, yeah. I had to,
Okay.
then I had to leave.
Yeah, it felt like Friday.
We're
Or wherever, I just had it sitting up there.
And we had 3 companies
Yep.
and so we've got an extra week for them to get their bids in.
Yeah, so it'll be on the agenda for bid opening.
Da-da-da-da. Yeah, yep.
And that notice got out to all the exchanges.
Yep.
And then you wanted when the county to contract with them for inspection of
Asbestos, and we'll get that.
Yeah.
That company, I can't remember her name, but I will get her in. We had the moving of things.
Yes,
So all the things that are in a construction zone, including equipment, storage, the county is responsible for moving and getting out of the way. Yeah, Janine brought up that we were planning to surplus a bunch of stuff, but I don't know what exactly that stuff is. So we would,
Start over.
okay. Let me,
yeah,
okay, here's the thing, we have a bunch of old furniture and stuff in the rooms that have to clear out. So we can surplus it. There's that old desk up there in the break room that we were talking maybe should be restored and put in the foyer of the,
I think so too. There's one of the ones that's in that picture. We come in, we're opening one of the original desk in there.
cause there's a table that's up there. That desk could be sitting there instead, and then people need to be on it. And it's a beautiful old desk.
Original courthouse.
And you know, Mike, some of the stuff we need to
Get rid
yeah.
of.
But it's what the question was, is Granite County is responsible. The question was asked by one of the contractors, is Granite County responsible to empty out the rooms that need to be vacated?
I think we should, cause you know, a lot of that's ours, I mean, like you're saying, our stuff and then computers and that. Otherwise, something's gonna happen and it's gonna come back. I think the people that have rooms need to empty their stuff. They know what they're taking and.
So you might wanna like have Dave Anderson or something like that, a few extra hours for him to help move things would be helpful.
And any of that stuff that's. County guys do it, you know, I don't see somebody get hurt or need a couple extra guys to rip that desk so we don't lose it.
Okay, so are we going to, what are we gonna do with it? Are we gonna put it in the foyer and have people put silent bids on it or what? On stuff that we're not.
like the brass bed is like an
There's a brass
antique that you should put out for surplus
Or
auction.
could go to the-
Or could go to the museum.
I think something offered in the first and
Yeah. Yeah. But like the roll top, I think we should restore that and put it in the, what do you call that, the rotunda?
I just think the people in other rooms are using. Outrage. They're taking care of their own stuff, and we don't have somebody going there to screw something up.
I would just see like Linda who has stuff stored though would need like Dave Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there could be some added hours for him.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else, Billy?
I don't think so. So if there's a lot of excess desks and things like that, do you want me to get a list together and bring them to you and put them out for surplus for people to buy them for like $1 or something like that? Or like, do you want me to put them in the paper surplus sale or?
Well, if
I think
somebody
it's-
wants them.
Paper.
Okay, here's the thing, it's style of bid, if they wanna put $1 in there. Then put $1, then it's just. Then you're
Yeah.
bidding.
I'd have.
Yeah.
So just have like a day where we do a silent bid and at the end of the day, if it's yours, you gotta come get it by the end of the
Yeah.
week. All right. Perfect.
And the bad offer to the museum.
Give for the bid museum if they don't want it.
To Bridge to the courthouse too,
Yeah.
probably.
Okay.
Just in the way, it's in the way, really.
But on that desk, we need to reach out to someone who's yours maybe.
Yeah,
I really think that would be awesome, awesomely beautiful.
I do a motion on that right now, I do a motion right now on that to restore it, or whatever. Oh, yeah.
Okay. During public comment,
Elena.
go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena Gagliano, for the record. First of all, I can't hear some of the audio. It breaks up. Blanche, I hear you're fine. I think Billy is fine, but when everybody else talks, it breaks up. Going back to this, to clarify, you are going to extend it another week before you make a decision regarding the elevator? Is that correct?
Gave them another week so that, just the bidders, so they can reach out for different pricing, because it isn't that easy to get the pricing.
The architect requested an extra week for the bidders to bid because of the time frame, and we've allowed that. Instead of the deadline being, what, next Thursday, it's the following Thursday.
Okay, thank you, Blanche. The other thing is, so we haven't made a decision. I'm sorry, not we. You guys haven't made a decision on the plans or anything. But you're already deciding how you're gonna get rid of the furniture that's in the way? And the other thing is, I don't see anything online. The maps or what you were looking at, is that gonna be posted online so the public can take a look at it?
Available in the clerk and recorder's office. We don't have the digital documents. I believe you have to pay for them. You can request them through Montana bidding.
What kind of bids?
Yeah.
And the courthouse plans have been approved, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was on the agenda.
Yeah, we approved it.
Because I was involved several years ago when they were kind of talking about selling the surplus furniture and kind of discussion about an elevator being placed somewhere. And this is a historical building. And I remember the maintenance person, Olson, I believe his name was, that's how long ago it was. And he was dead set against it. And he gave me a tour of the building. And that off of the planning boards, I don't even know if that's what you're thinking about, off of the planning board office, that little room, the ladies' room. That was very interesting. That's the fainting room. And he went into the history of that. And that was amazing. Why that little bed was there, why the bathroom was there, goes back to, you know, the 20th century when women wore heavy clothes. I mean, it was really interesting. And you're just gonna, I don't know, whatever, I'd like to see this information. And I I think it's very important because that is a historical building, and it's a shame to be redoing the whole thing and losing some of the historical value of that building. Thank you.
Measure for out stuff, and they were sitting at the feedback first.
Okay, Blaine,
So they talked about, so the motion was to restore that roll top desk that's in that thinking area that you call and then offer that bid to the museum, and then the non-historic item to put out for a bid that are not useful. Is that?
yes,
That's what you're talking about. You're not giving up anything of historical nature of the museum.
plans were approved. And also the architect took into consideration the historical part.
Yeah, I had to run by the historic preservation folks, even the fund, they even had the funding idea, but the historic preservation federal regulations don't, the county don't apply.
Well, again, it was very hard hearing some of the conversations. I don't know what's happening now, but it was hard hearing some of the conversation and following everybody. Said that before. And I'd like to see some of these plans and the pre-bids on everything on this. So I think the public would be interested. I think I'm sorry, I think I don't know why that's happening. God, I don't know why this is happening.
Why, what is happening?
It keeps cutting out. I can't hear it, and an echo and everything else. I don't know why that's happening, but I think the public will be interested in what you guys are doing or thinking about doing about the courthouse. Thank you.
You weren't cutting out on our end, so we could do that. What questions do you still have, and we'll answer them right now? Because the plans in the clerk and recorder's office.
Well, the contractors, the bids.
We haven't received any bids yet. They'll be opened in 2 weeks.
Okay, and then they're going to say exactly what they're going to do, right?
The specifications are already in the clerk and recorder's office. The plans are exact.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next agenda item is,
Oh, yeah. Didn't vote on the motion on the roll top.
aye. Motion carried and passed. The next agenda item is a personnel matter, closed session. So the next agenda item is the county's DOT drug and alcohol testing policy and vehicle safety program, discussion and decision.
For looking through it more than that, I think. You know, that zero tolerance, just kind of the way the state and everybody's going, so.
You have a comment?
No, I think we have to go with zero tolerance.
Go with zero tolerance.
I don't totally agree with it in a lot of cases, but
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be stuff that
I
we're,
mean,
something comes down, like look and see, you know, but it's, I think this right now to go with the zero tolerance. Move on with this.
Okay, is there a motion to accept So in this drug and alcohol policy, this is the draft.
Yeah, I have a final one over here though.
Yeah. There's something highlighted. Or is, oh, okay, this,
That's what's in your handbook, so you could see what you already
that's
have
in the
in
handbook.
place. Mhm.
so are we going by the handbook, and the handbook, is it?
So it doesn't touch on your DOT policies,
Okay.
it's just kind of a broad range over that we're kind of a drug and alcohol free workplace. But if you do want to adopt a policy today, I do have one that you can sign that does not say draft.
So this draft here is what we are accepting, and it said $0 tolerance.
Yes.
Correct. I'll make a motion to accept it.
So what do you,
What can you do? You have to,
It's not like I have a choice. I mean,
unfortunately.
the liability and the cover our stuff. I think it's
Well, I personally would say I'd like to give them a chance to say it was just but
I agree.
marijuana is still federally against the law, so there isn't, you can't really work with anybody saying, okay, you need rehab. And it's what marijuana and the other stuff that they're worried about, and alcohol too. I mean, you might get tested and you were out too late the night before or something. So that $0 tolerance for that too. Okay, all right. Is there any public
it's the way
comment?
it's stated.
So this, your motion is for to accept the drug and alcohol draft. And then we'll do another motion for the safety program. These are two motions that,
Yeah, however you want to do it.
or can we accept both of them
I guess. Accept both.
in one motion?
The DOT drug and alcohol testing policy and vehicle safety program. I just make a motion
Okay.
that we accept.
Make a motion.
Say accept both. Okay, is there any public comment? Being none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, the next agenda item is discussion concerning the future of timber sales. Okay.
Actually, with,
Thank you, office. Here, do you guys want to sign these for me? Let's see.
Would you like to join us and you state your name and?
you, I'm up here.
I'm Sharon. Works Doug at Senator Dane's office, and we're invited to come listen and forward some information to Senator Danes about the issues or what's going on.
I could get you guys to sign. Let's see, Brandy and I are gonna swap out. I gotta
Okay.
run my mom. but- Thank you. No more broken toes.
Did you have questions?
Yeah, I guess this is probably what I suggested. We sent a letter to the regional forester, forest supervisor. Because we can't really get a whole lot of information out of districts. And I read it was on the computer. But I think it was Wall Street Journal about, and Danes had commented on this, about how the timber sales are now gonna have to go to Washington DC to be approved. Which is ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure you agree with that. And so we wanna know what's going on with the timber industry. What is it? Is it totally dead now? Because it was, all the timber sales have to go to Washington DC. I can pretty much guarantee there's not gonna be many timber sales. And you have all these collaboration committees and all this stuff. Which, in my opinion, is a waste of time anyway, because all I do is talk, but. You know, I mean, so that's all. It's gone. I mean, why do that if things have to go to Washington DC? And I'll lead into another situation. We also sent a letter to pretty much everybody, all the senators and representatives, about the Forest Service. What they're doing now is they're logging under fire. And fire is paying for that logging. And we can go into this because with the Bold Creek fire, I think they were just hauling this winter, all that stuff they decked there. And so what here's my frustration with back in the day when the environmentalists were trying to eliminate timber sales, deficit sales were a big thing. And so they would litigate these sales and then that would run up the cost for the, you know, for the timber sale, and you had to do all this studies and all this other stuff and everything. And so it became a deficit sale. So the Forest Service wasn't making the money that they should be, you know, to put in the treasury. Okay, so but now they are logging under fire. They are paying for that logging to be done as a fire cost. And these people here in the Bulls Creek fire last summer, they bragged about they spent $10 million. And you remember that? And that was supposed to have been a good thing. Well, that wasn't a good thing. I mean, where's that money coming from? It's coming, they're borrowing it, adding to the deficit. That land up there could have been logged. And I mean, it's easy ground. But no, they didn't want to log it. They wanted to burn it. And so I'm going to get into I'll get into the whole fire thing. So the first team comes in and they give us a big map, and I didn't bring it. That's a copy of it, but and the fire was like here. And they had this whole area as the fire area. And I said, well, no, so you're going to burn that. And they go, well, no, we're not going to burn it. We're going to let it burn naturally. And so they're building all this indirect line. It was thousands of acres extra. And so they're going to build these indirect lines. And I said, no, you're going to burn that. And they said no. And they didn't, I don't think. Well, then the second team, so they're only there for 2 weeks. They leave. The second team comes in there, and guess what they did? They burned it. And then I accused them of burning it, and saying that, well, team number one said you weren't going to burn that. Well, we're team number two. So they lit it, and first they denied they lit it. But I had it got on YouTube, and somebody sent me a YouTube of them lighting that Bulls Creek fire. Thousands of acres. It's ridiculous.
They denied doing it in here in the meeting?
Yeah, they denied it at first, then they said, oh, yeah, we did, but we didn't say we wouldn't. They just blame it, and that's what they do when these teams change every 2 weeks. It used to be 3 weeks, now it's 2 weeks. They blame the other team. And I've been through this in 2017, talking to them on Little Hogback Fire. They did the same exact thing. They blamed it on the other team. Nobody takes responsibility. So anyway.
And this is determined in Washington, what they do. Supposedly.
I guess somebody's telling them what to do.
Yeah, they're saying it's on the local level.
Yeah, so these guys are coming in here, and then remember the third team comes in there. And I accused them of lighting it. And the second team was from Minnesota. The Minnesota guy says, I said, why didn't you build that line? In fact, I said that to the first team. I said, build a line here, here, here. It's really wet over here. It's just got dry ridges. You can stop it right where it is. It's right up to Bulls Creek. I hunt that area. I know that area. And they said, no, it's too steep and hazardous. was flat. It's flat. And if you notice on the news, almost every fire, they will say, well, the experts say it's too steep and hazardous.
Too rugged.
Yeah, too rugged.
So the experts coming from
Minnesota,
Minnesota,
California, Minnesota.
California, instead of Montana.
Yeah, instead of local people who know and have to answer to the people who are breathing that smoke. And so then they're out, they light thousands of acres. And they did this up in Thompson Falls, I know, on the Thorn Creek fire, they did the same thing. They did lit thousands of acres. And people have pictures of them dropping the ping pong balls, you know, anyway, so. And now all the studies come up and I've researched some of it and I also, oh, I gotta find it. Reached the Smoke Temperate Association magazine, and I spread this on a computer, and they're saying the same thing I'm saying. And all the studies are
Might be a
coming.
lozenge over there for you, sorry.
Thank you.
A lozenge
Is it one?
is what I meant.
So-
That it means for you to blow your nose. Sorry, I'm sorry. Wait.
How many studies are coming out on how hazardous that smoke is? I mean, it causes, now they're saying it causes dementia. It causes heart disease, lung disease, asthma in kids. And anybody. I developed an allergic reaction to it. And so I know what some people are going through. I knew other people in, well, several years ago before 2017, the guy was all smoked in Missouri. And the guy was on oxygen and he could barely move like 10 feet because of the smoke. I mean, come on. So these bureaucrats are making the decision to light thousands of acres and putting everybody at risk. And it's harming everybody, whether they know it or not. I mean, it's harming you, me, I mean, everybody.
So question, are we asking Senator Daines then, hey, we want it more local control instead of Washington DC?
Exactly.
Making the decisions for us here when they don't know even the terrain or burning the whole forest. for
Burning
no
the whole
reason.
forest, but we could have had, they could have been logging it. I mean, you know, back in the day, we were getting into really good, in fact, that's how they're building the fine line. They're using the logging practices that started right here, right on this district. And you know, so you could go out there and be logging and fireproof your forest. But no, they'd rather do it.
Instead of burning it.
Burning it and then hiring the equipment, the mechanized equipment to go in there and build these indirect lines way away from the fire and then go in and light it. And then they'll go back to Congress and say, well, hundreds of millions of acres burned last year. We need more money. Right?
How about, there's been some ideas of the feds giving power to the states to run the forest, that'd be
Exactly.
right up here, that element. Congress doesn't wanna run it, what the.
I guess my big thing, yeah, my big thing is why, well, okay, we want more logging. I think the logging thing is to shut down before Washington DC. The logging under fires. Why does Congress fund that? Why would Congress fund that? When they're lighting it, all that carbon is going into the atmosphere. There's no way to reclaim it. It increases global warming. It harms the people. It burns up our timber. Why is it being funded?
Got that?
No, yeah. So when you sent that letter, did anybody from the Forest Service respond?
No.
Neither district, neither Lolo. We never get nothing back from them, they ignore us. Back.
You know, a few years ago, even when timber thing was kind of winding down, the district did send a monthly or every 2 months or something like that, a plan for timber sales and what they're doing on the whole forest. And I haven't seen that in a year.
It's just like now you're making people that live in Montana have to bother Wyoming. We have the resource here, why wouldn't we do our own, why are we making? I mean, with this other mill shutting down, this stuff is. Chuck and I were talking about, you know, why does anybody want to get in the timber industry anymore, cause.
Yeah, here's a labor shortage up there at Seeley Lake, and like I was, you know, like I told Scott. What young guy would say, okay, I'm gonna go make a career out of that mill? When they can't get any timber, and they know that, everybody knows that, you know, that they can't get the timber, they can't even log the fires that burn. In most part, a little bit, they'll log a little bit to say they did, but. Basically, they won't even log the burned trees.
So they're still leaving the trees down. They're not letting a logging company come in and harvest the burned trees down
No.
that are down.
No, I mean,
There is a sale there that was on the Big Hole side of the Pentlands, that's in litigation now.
they do. They'll do little bits and pieces, like on 2017, on like a little hogback fire. They went in there and did a little bit. I mean, not near what they could have. And you know, I can get a whole, on 2017, I went down to, on a little hogback. I knew the country very well. I used to fight fire. Okay, so I went down to talked to the operations fire camp and said, you don't need to burn that. And they go, I said, you are gonna burn that, you're gonna light it, aren't you? They go, well, that was the plan. I said, well, you don't need to do that. Okay, it's burned up to this creek here, it's wet there, and all you gotta do is put a line in, whatever. And it'd be simple. He said, well, the plan was, we're gonna wait for an east wind. Because what they did the year before, they took logging equipment from another fire. They put it up there and they widened the road. The Upper Willow Road, the Forest Service Upper Willow Road, widened it to a fire line. And I wrote the district a letter and I says, you're gonna burn that, aren't you? You're gonna burn that whole hot hillside. And they wouldn't answer me, told me to mind my own business. Okay, so that was even before. So then that little hogback 2017 starts. It's burning there, and he said, yeah, we're gonna burn from that road, that fire line, we're gonna light it with an east wind, so it'll blow all back up the mountain. And they burned thousands of acres. Put all that carbon in the atmosphere.
Don't they even call it something else besides backburn? Because I remember I used the word backburn one time a few years ago, and they lit me up, there's some politically correct name for it.
It's not, yeah, they call it the firing operations now, because there's no good word for it. They just call it firing operations. And no, there was back in the place, you know, backburn or burnout, you know, and that's where you build a line, the fire's here, and you got maybe 2 or 3 acres or whatever, and you burn it out between the line.
Just to stop it.
Just to stop it. And that's a whole different thing, so they took this. No, I'll get into another thing, and 2005 or 04 or something, I was on fire, it's coming out of it's coming down Rosses Ford and heading towards Emerald. Okay, I was working with the Great Basin Type 1 team. And we happened to be driving it by a place where the loggers live, and they'd had their equipment pulled out, and it was sitting there, a fellow buncher was sitting there. I said, why don't we use it for a buncher to make a line? And the guy knew a little bit about logging. He said, yeah, let's try it. So we put that fellow buncher on that fire. And we built line, and they never built line with a fellow buncher before. And we built a beautiful line. word got out, people were coming, taking pictures of it, wow, look at this, look at this. Well, we built an indirect line, which was basically worthless, but they weren't burning it out then. You see, they were just gonna let it burn naturally, and you can do that.
On that, you're saying that it was a tighter indirect line? Or what do you mean, or,
No, it was an indirect line, fire here is coming down Ross Fork,
okay,
right here. We built a line up here on the side of Emerald.
okay,
Okay, so, but at that time, the fire people weren't in to lighten all this area.
okay.
They just were gonna let it come out. And in case it did get that far, then we could stop it at that indirect line.
I think we're there. I think in talking to them this, or last year was all, they're saying safer, or they're trying to say that it's safer, but. I don't.
Yeah, yeah,
don't know
it's then
that.
too hazardous.
Yeah,
Are you guys firefighters or what? You know, I mean, it's out of control. My point is on that, the whole thing is out of control. And I don't see why Congress would fund that.
Yeah,
Because it's evolved. It took me several years to figure out what they were doing when all these fires started taking off later. And every day about, I'd watch these columns and every day about, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. On a real hot day, windy day, it's gonna take off anyway. But these weren't real hot, windy days. All of a sudden, a big column was going up there. They gotta be lighting that, but I didn't know for sure. Because I couldn't get up there and see. Well, I know on Bowsbury. Yeah, but I can prove it.
well, the bigger picture is manage it versus let it.
Yeah.
Manage it.
And what they're doing, they're saying, they're using it as an excuse. A lightning strike is a natural fire. And they're using that as an excuse to burn it. My point is, as soon as they put a drip torch on it and start lighting extra acres, it's not a natural fire. You just made an unnatural fire.
Well, the policy has no care for human life, basically, what you're saying, that's argued there.
Yeah, they're saying,
If we have to suck in the smoke, then there's no care about.
They're
it.
saying- their goal of burning acres and burning timber is more important. than people.
What's their goal?
Their goal is to keep burning, in my opinion. The more acres you burn, the more money you get. The more money you get, the more you can spend, the more you can hire.
But the environmental policy is basically the way it should be when humans weren't here. That's what the policy is. Everything's supposed to be the way humans weren't here.
But you're saying that it's not even that.
It's
They're
not even that.
basically
No, it's just-
starting.
Yeah.
It's becoming not, if they did that, it's just like the one that comes out of Ross Fork. Like I was telling you, they let it burn naturally. That's better than lighting it, I mean. Most places it's best to go fight it, but if you're real, are gonna just let it burn naturally, let it go into that natural mosaic, like. That's how the timber stands were developed here in 1910 or whatever, and other years. They burn a mosaic, because they go out naturally, they start naturally, they go out naturally, and they got this squiggly pattern. See, but no, they're lighting it to a road. Oh, it's ridiculous. And then-
interesting.
And do you all have any information on how it's affecting the lumber industry? Or the
Yeah.
logging industry?
Well, yeah, it's put the lumber industry. It's gone.
I mean, we've heard a
Pyramid,
few other boards say we were promised we could log so many million call it
Yeah.
feet of,
yeah, the
lumber.
allowable cut in the day was, they'd have allowable cut, and you had to get that. And that was all talked about, all collaborated and everything, and so they'd say, okay, so that forest, you can do 39 more feet. And so the Forest Service would go out there and put up basically 39 more feet, and they sell that with bids. And see, and then the Forest Service made money. Because people would overbid. And so you have a bid premium. So you could have, $100,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million in bid premium. It goes back to the treasury. And the way they're doing it now, they're taking money, borrowing money to pay to log it.
So you're saying they're basically, instead of getting their money from allowing the logging companies to log, they're burning so that they can get the money from Congress out of our taxpayers' money.
Like they're doing that for the fire organization. In the meantime, they're logging all these acres with mechanical equipment. And doing it exactly how we used to do it on this district, and making their shaded fire lines. And then, so they're decking all those logs. And then they sell it to, I don't even think they bid it, do you know? They won't answer me.
Some of them they did, and the others they just, it's on whose ground.
But basically, so they paid with fire money from the treasury to do that, to do the logging, the decking, so the
So they're
loggers.
not logging companies, Forest Service is doing the logging. And then they're selling to.
Yeah, and then they're
whoever.
selling the decks. But it's costing them way more money. That's.
So as far as timber industry, there isn't any in Granite County. And it used to be one of the main sources of income.
They're not doing lodgepole
No.
anymore. I thought
They
that's
don't do
pretty much
post
where
and
it
pole
came
I've never seen a truck, little post and pole truck going down the road.
I know Beckman talked about it, but never did.
Their, sales are set for the smaller stuff. They're taking, but they're doing, it's not full sale, they're calling it logger sale. All of it.
Yeah, and they're doing it mechanical,
Yeah.
they're doing it mechanical.
Like a small person like me that, they don't even have any more 10 loads or 15 loads where you go just do it yourself. It's just very much, you can't get an answer. They can give you an answer.
Back in the day, I mean, the environmentalists don't own that forest. It's for multiple use. And the way that it was done 15, 20 years ago, and a kid get out of high school and he had an old pickup truck and borrow his dad's chainsaw. And he was 18 years old and he could go out, and the kids did it too. And
I went out and did it.
yeah, and go out there and you cut post and poles and not hard work, but they can make money doing it.
Now they put up a sale, next day you're in litigation.
Yeah, well,
That's real work too.
It's a mess.
So are you asking that the best solution that you feel would be for Congress to look at giving that power to the states so that somebody like DNRC can regulate that?
Or the legislature.
Legislature, even the counties. Here's what I think too, and I gotta redo an addendum to our plan. And never got to it yet. But I would like to put in there that the commission or their representative have equal say in every fire. So if the fire starts, the team comes in, they have to come and with the commission or the representative, the commission designates. And they say, well, we're gonna let this one burn, or we're gonna put it in direct line and burn it all out. County should have the authority to say no.
Your county's more power than the legislature.
And then when the people are getting sick from the smoke, they can come and talk.
More direct representation.
Yeah. That's what I like to see it. But I thought about this a lot, and since I got that allergy to smoke, it's miserable. And I know what people, you know, before I didn't know what people was talking. But until you had it, you can't breathe. And so they're condemning me to sit in my house all summer long with one of them air filter machines. I don't think so. I don't think any bureaucrat has an authority, the right to tell me I have to do that. Or anybody else. And that's what it is now.
So the Forest Service is making more money setting fires than it was having loggers come in and bid for. Kind of, they make more money that way, so they wanna make more money doing that. Instead of letting
Well, they made more money for the treasury.
for the treasury,
Way more money.
for the treasury,
That's a good point.
that
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
help.
I mean, something's gotta change. I mean, you know, I'm old. You know, what difference for me? My grandkids.
Well, here's
That's
the
what I'm
other,
thinking. Grandkids, our grandkids, are gonna live in that, breathe in that for their whole lives, every summer.
Mhm.
And then told on some summers that you don't go outside. You can't go out and play baseball. You can't go out and play football. You can't go out and run. You go sit inside. Federal government does not have that right to tell anybody to do that.
okay, this is gonna open for public comment. Does anybody have public comment? Any questions? For our representative from Senator Dane's office?
We sent that,
Let's
out.
do our representative from Senator Dane's.
We never got an answer. That's why I'm making another point. We never got, when we sent it to the congressman and signed that letter, we never got an answer.
Still having it, today I asked Billy, I'm still running.
Well, that was the one that the board supervisor reported.
Get a copy of that before I leave.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Elena.
Thank you, Elena. I don't know if I'm still having a problem with if you can hear me or not.
Yeah,
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't get the person from Tester's office. I didn't get her name.
No.
Nobody here from Tester.
no, Dane's office.
Do you wanna?
James's office?
Yes,
Okay,
Sharon Parks, PARKS hyphen Banda, BANDA.
thank you. And I just want to ask a question. How much does the lawsuits from the environmentalists, how much of an effect does that have on Forest Service? Apparently, every time the Forest Service turns around and does something, they get a lawsuit against them by the environmentalists. So they're a part of the problem, yes or no?
Yes, and Senator Daines is working diligently on getting the Cottonwood decision cleaned up, which would mitigate much of these lawsuits that come immediately when they're ready to start logging and working on management of forests. And hopefully that will get done, hopefully this session.
So actually, the decisions would be in Congress's hands, but since this is a federal agency and it really doesn't go to the local level.
Well, Cottonwood is already in place and they're trying to clean it up and it would prevent a lot of the litigation that goes on. You can't, I guess they can't stop some of the different organizations from trying to file lawsuits, but this would help with having everything just stop until those lawsuits are heard.
But it's still up to Congress, right? Not the local level. Thank you.
Well, I just want to state too, that I'm not against fighting forest fires. I am for fighting forest fires, I'm for fighting forest fires with mechanical equipment. Not just to fight them, just fight them or just don't light them,
Yeah,
you know, come on.
Seems like a lot of these lawsuits are the degree of environmental review. I think Congress needs to look at that issue as well. I mean, they need to, it's too stringent on environmental review.
I don't think you'll get anything through Congress. You know,
It's a pipe dream.
not get political here. Okay,
Anything else that you would like to send up?
do you have anything for us?
So there's no more logging industry here in Granite County that you know of?
basically, no, I mean,
I don't think in because that one
It's private.
that whole critter.
There's businesses here that do it, yeah, they're.
Uber, Craig, that was a state sale.
you know, they're still logging some private land, but
Damn.
no, it's bad, it's.
Things get worse, I just can't imagine why you have to travel so far to work when you have all the resources here. That need to be cleaned up and they just keep ignoring them, making more wilderness, and then this, it's just a bunch of BS, it's sad,
They're
they're,
not burning it.
they're just really.
All right, I will bring this back and I'll wait so I can get a copy of that. I'm sorry you didn't get an answer if it went to Senator James, but we'll be.
You know, on the health effects, what really gets me, and like I said, they're proving it, and why do people? Why are our public officials promoting it, I mean, or stating that, they're stating it, the health effects, that they shouldn't be just lighting thousands of acres. And nobody mentions it.
I don't know that that point's getting back to a lot of this thing.
I mean, there's all kinds of studies now,
Yeah,
you know,
they're seeing they've got to do a better management at that point. What they're burning.
They're lighting,
Yeah.
they're lighting.
there's a guy named, or the guy that heads up this National Smoke Country Association. This guy's, and he's really in it. And the health effects. And this is just wrong. And like I told you before, see, I started fighting fires in '60s. Okay, and I was in on a lot of this original hotshot crews and stuff, like taking fires. And this lighting thousands of acres started in California, in the Southwest region. And in that country, a lot of it, you're lighting brush. You know, and maybe that is not that big a deal. I mean, if you can go to a fire line or to a road and burn out a bunch of brush and, you know, big.
Grows back in a year.
But it wasn't for the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. And they're even doing this over in the Cascades. Where you've got great big huge trees and they're like, they're burning them up and letting them stand. It's ridiculous.
And I'll bring it to the attention of the senators, not only his advisor for forestry, but health.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you all.
thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for all you do. Thanks. Leave it open or close?
Oh, could you? Just let you do it, you were.
So that ends our agenda for March 19th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
No second.
We're adjourned. I.